What's going on YouTube? Matt, Famous Autographs here with a TTM report that is quite large. But before that, I have a few things to recap. If you all know, I went to Miami last week. That's why I was not in the Autograph Weekly Listapalooza episode. But I was involved in a Game of Thrones party up in South Beach, Miami. I was hoping that a lot of the cast would show up. Unfortunately, only one showed up, and that was Gwendolyn Christie. You would probably know her as Brienne of Tarth from Game of Thrones. When I show you the picture, you'll know who she is. Unfortunately, she was not signing autographs at that time. It was a large crowd, so she didn't want to be overwhelmed. But she was kind enough to take pictures with us in a very recognizable location. So I'm going to show you the picture. This is it right here. So there's Gwendolyn Christie, you probably recognize who that is. There's Famous. There's Miss Famous. So she took pictures with everybody that was there, but then she left, and it was all out free for all for the throne. So there I am, acting like the king that I am. But what is a king without his queen? So I had a fantastic time there. HBO really knows how to throw a party. It was just themed Game of Thrones. I mean, yeah, the cast wasn't there, but the whole party was freaking awesome. So I had an awesome time until it was time to fly back. And that's when I left my laptop at the airport. Security. Flew back home, West Virginia. Laptop in Miami. So I didn't have anything to do customs, to do videos, anything like that. So I had to wait till I called the Lost and Found. They found my laptop and they sent it back to me. So I got it late last week. Thing is, my SD card was missing out of my laptop. It's nowhere to be found. This SD card had all my tracking data for all my TTMs. Most importantly, it had all my templates for all of my customs. So I have to start from scratch on all of my customs. And luckily I had some of my trackers saved on my laptop itself. So I still have some of that information. But for those that were waiting for customs for me, I'm very, very sorry. I do have to start those all over, and I have to start every custom from scratch, which is a little upsetting, but as a good buddy of mine texted me, he was like, hey, you're very good at customs, and it'll just turn out even better. So we'll see what happens with those. So that was my trip to Miami. It was very awesome. I got a nice little tan, but I got to sit in the throne as well, and then meet Gwendolyn Christie. So that's that, and then I have a few YouTube packages to show you before I show you my TTMs. The first is coming from Robert Romero, LA Dodgers 83. We did a small trade. I sent him one of my extra Orphans playbills, and he sent me this Doug Bradley. Since I am a big horror fan, he is Pinhead in Hellraiser. But that is not all. He did watch the Autograph Weekly episode in which we were telling our white whales. One of them was Betty White. So he sent me a little extra, which is the Lake Placid movie poster, and there's Betty White's auto right there. Thank you very much, Robert. Class act. I hope you get your playbill soon. But that was awesome, man. Thank you for doing that very much. Thank you very much for doing that. Sorry. Next is coming from one of Autograph Weekly's stars himself, Neri Lemus, also known as TTM Central. We also did a trade for one of the other extra Orphans playable that I got, and he sent me this in return with John Lithgow, columnist. So this is a great addition to my playbill collection. Thank you very much, Neri. And he also did some IPing for me because I wanted very much to have Asif Mendivi. He's been in a lot of movies. He's not really like the main role, but he plays key roles in a lot of movies. He's also in The Internship. So Neri got this for me, this big poster here. There is his signature. There is also, I believe, Taya Sircar is right there. And then the next is Bruno Amato, which is right there. The other three, I do not know who they are. Or two, no, other three, I don't know who they are. But thank you, Neri, for getting this for me. Very much appreciated. If you ever see anything that you want that I get, let me know. Same thing with you, Robert. Check out their links. They are below in my video. The great guys all around. If you haven't subscribed to them, subscribe to them. And last, before I get to my TTMs, I have 30 TTMs to show you. It's going to be quite a long video, but it's well worth it. You all know I have some great stuff coming in. You have to wait till the 30th one or the last couple, because I'm saving the best for last on this one, because I really have no days to go by. I don't have a tracker anymore. Well, I'm starting a new one, but neither here nor there. But I also sent it to Jerry West, and I got a response back in quite quickly, but preprint. So I don't know if he's just sending it to me, but Jerry West looks like he's sending preprints now. Maybe because it's off season. I'm gonna try again when the season starts and see what happens. But there's that one that does not count towards the 30. So I have 30 points going towards Team Martinez. We're going to look at it in a second. The last thing that I want to cover is the Relay for Life update. As you all know, start back in the day, a couple months back, I started asking for donations. Several of you sent autographs, and you donated to the Relay for Life website. But mainly I got a bunch of autographs, like Card Cutter, and then Ben Martinez, Gage Meadows, you sent some stuff as well. But I just wanted to give you an update. We did have our Relay for Life on this past Friday, and total up, with all the donations you gave, with all donations all of our team gave, we ended up raising $15,500. So good job on that. But Relay for Life hasn't stopped yet. It's still going to go on. I believe we have until later on this year. So if you still want to donate some stuff, let me know. I can raffle those off, sell those autographs for you, and it'll go towards Relay for Life. But thank you very much for those that did donate. That is a huge chunk of money going towards a good cause. $15,500. Thank you. So with that in mind, let's take a look at my 30 TTMs. Sorry for the long video. It's going to be great. I have a lot of baseball successes, a great baseball success I didn't think I was going to get back, but you're going to see it in a few. Let's get started and let's see what I have. Alright, so this should go very quickly since I don't have my dates, but here we go. Postmarked Tampa, Florida. And he signed 2 of 2 in I don't know how many days. But this is for my 1987-1989 top sets. Atlanta Brave, Bruce Benedict. So here's the 87. Here's the 89. Next, signing 1 of 2. This is postmarked Fort Myers, Florida. And this is a 1981-82 tops of Utah Jazz, Alan Bristow. Next, this is postmarked Kansas City, and he signed 2 of 2. Former A's and Red Sox, Steve Renko. Here is the 79 tops. Next on the list, this is postmarked North Texas, and he signed 1 of 1 on a 1978 tops. Very, very light. Former Indians Jim Kern. Looks like the marker is running out, but there it is. Next on the list, postmarked Kansas City. And this is a former New York Yankee pitcher. He signed 1982 tops, kind of creased, and he signed it in pen. Dave LaRoche. But more importantly, he signed a Yankees bookplate. Next, this is postmarked San Diego, California. and he signed 3 of 3. Former Cubs and Rangers pitcher Jamie Moyer. This is a 1988 Fleer. 89 tops for my set. And 90 upper deck. Next on the list, this is coming from, looks like Daniels, New Jersey. And he signed 1 of 2. Didn't sign my Yankees, but signed Mariners card, Steve Balboni. I'm going to try him again. Next, this is postmarked Trenton, New Jersey. And he signed 1 of 1. Former Yankee player Rick Cerone. Next, postmark from Denver, Colorado. And he signed 2 of 2. One of them is for the 1987 top set. This is Greg Brock from the Dodgers. And here's 90 upper deck for the Brewers. Next, postmark from Atlanta Metro. Signed 3 of 2. Both of these are for 1987 tops. This is Lonnie Smith. And he also signed an index card. Next, postmark from San Diego, California. Didn't sign any of my cards. Sent an index card of his own that's signed in blue. Fred Lynn. Next, postmark Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Signed 3 of 3 from the Pittsburgh Pirates, John Smiley on 90 score. 90 Fleer. 91 Fleer. Next, postmark Seattle, Washington. Former Supersonics star Jack Sikma. Next, coming from Tampa, Florida, on signing 2 of 2, former Red Sox pitcher Dick Drago. Coming from West Palm Beach, Florida, signing 1 of 1 on an 82 tops is Jeff Reardon. Coming from the coastal Carolina area in North Carolina. She signed 2 of 2 in 90 days. Actually, I have a time frame on this one. Actually 3 of 2. This is Jay McNeil. First of all, she did send a letter thanking me about what I wrote, and there's her signature there. It's her on a 4x6 custom. And another Walking Dead 4x6 custom. Aim for the head. Next, this is postmarked Seattle, Washington. She signed 3 of 2. Linda Evans. Here's the first. Second. And index card. Next, postmark Santa Clarita, California. This is one of my white whales from the last Autograph Weekly I was in about 2 weeks ago. She finally came in. This was the second one that I sent, but she signed 2 4x6s for me in 129 days. Miss Betty White. So here's the first. And here's the second. And if you saw in my intro, Mr. Robert Romero also sent me a Betty White on the Lake Placid movie poster. So got 3 now. Very awesome. Next, no postmark. uncanceled stamp. He signed 2 of 2. This is Chris Iannetta. 2012 Topps. And an Angels sticker. Next, this is postmarked from New York, New York. This is coming 2 of 3 in 101 days. And my last video I got to Beth Resgraph from Leverage, and then Stacy asked me, I guess it was before Autograph Weekly started, if I got Timothy Hutton. Told him no, it took a while, but here it is. Timothy Hutton 5x7. And also 4x6. 2 5 down. Kind of hard to read the postmark here. There you go. And he signed 3 of 3. This is a former Yankee Don Baylor. Here he is. Here's his enlarged card with Orioles. Signature right there. He signed also a 88 score. Most importantly, signed a Yankees bookplate. Up next, postmarked Santa Clarita, California. And he signed 2 of 3 in 103 days. Former, well, not former, but he was in Lost. This is Jorge Garcia, so here's the 5x7. And here is the 4x6 when he was in Once Upon a Time as the Giant. So I got one for my Lost collection and one for my Once Upon a Time collection. Next on the list, this is postmarked New York, New York. Color of the envelope tells you it is a playbill. And this one came back in 57 days. A couple other people have gotten this, but this is from Kinky Boots. It is right there. Next on the list, this is also postmarked New York, New York. Color of the envelope tells you it's another playbill. I didn't think I was going to get this one back because everybody else was, and I just didn't get that one back, but it came back in 47 days. This is signed by Holland Taylor on an and playbill. Next on the list, this is coming from Santa Clarita, California. Playbill envelope color, but it's a DVD cover. This one is Fun with Dick and Jane. This is signed by George Siegel. There is his co-star Jane Fonda, so I'm going to send it to her next, but there's his signature. Next on the list, this is Macon, Georgia. And signing 1 of 1 is Vic Correll. Next one, I didn't keep the envelope, but I bought this collector's edition DVD, sent the whole thing, asking to send the cover. It's not really like a booklet, it's actually the cover. But she was the producer of this movie. She also is a producer of The Terminator and The Walking Dead. But this is my collector's edition of Aliens, signed by Gail Ann Hurd. So there's the box. There's her signature. You can see it's kind of a pull-out type thing. There you go. Next on the list, very happy to get this for my 1987 Topps set. I wrote kind of a long letter letting him know what I was doing. You know, talked about how I watched him, and you know, it kind of sucks at what he had to go through and all that stuff. And I sent, you know, a small donation, thinking it's a shot in the dark, maybe I'll get one. I didn't think he'd sign 2, but I got a letter from the Roger Clemens Foundation thanking me for my autograph request, letting me know that there is a autographed photo. And I was like, okay, I got the photo that everybody else gets, and there's a handwritten, says thanks for the donation. Again, a small donation, it wasn't very large at all. But then I took out the contents of the envelope, and which came from Houston, Texas. And 2 of 2. And here is, it's actually 13 days, Roger Clemens. So here's the first one from the 1987 Topps. And then I have the record breaker that he also signed for me. Bam, really happy to have these. This is awesome. I know it's Boston Red Sox, but he also played for the Yankees. So this is awesome to have a former Yankee, and this for my 1987 set. Next, this is postmarked Santa Clarita, California. As you can tell, the envelope is bent. So that means my photo was bent. Pretty upset to have this bent like this, but you know, I kind of went off on the mail carrier about it. But he signed 2 of 2 in 64 days, known as Shaft. This is Richard Roundtree. So here's the 5x7 custom, where you can see it's obviously bent up here all the way down. And luckily my 4x6 was not bent, so here's the custom 4x6. And last, for my TTM report for June the 15th. This was actually the 3rd TTM I sent out back in November 2012, uncancelled stamps. And he signed 1 of 1 in 218 days. My second Dexter success. This is Michael C. Hall. So here's my 8x10 to Matthew, Michael C. Hall. There you go. Didn't I tell you it'd be a great video? Told ya. But I don't want to take up a lot of your time. I just want to take this last moment to thank everybody that does sign TTM. I'm going to say this in every video because you are appreciated. Thank you very much for signing for us. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be in this hobby. We'd be doing bad things. Very, very bad things. But thank you very much. And everybody, thank you very much again. Relay for Life was fantastic. $15,500. Couldn't have done it without you. We're still doing it, so if you want to donate, let me know. But thank you very much for watching. 30 points for Team Martinez. Have a great week.